Bonjour mon petit felou, ça va? Kelly Bear here. Welcome to my channel. Today I am going to be doing a little bit of like a deck collection type video. I am going to be showing all of my animal based decks, tarot and oracle. And I had more than I realised. I enjoy an animal deck moment. I know some people really can't do or don't do animal decks, they just don't enjoy them. I know people that absolutely love them, if not actually prefer them, because they don't like having peoply, humany type cards. They find them sort of distracting or off-putting, and so they find animals preferable. And yeah, I was looking at the Orion's Animal Tarot, and I also saw that there's going to be, or there is, a mini version. And oh my goodness, you know, I am a sucker for a mini tarot deck. I just love wee things because they're cute and they're small, but also they're so practical for taking out and about. And I have small paws, people. I struggle with even sometimes standard size decks. So for example, my standard Smithwaite Centennial, which I love, I do struggle to get my hands around that for sort of like a side on shuffling. So I've sort of come to, when I do my overhand part of my shuffling, I tend to do it in the portrait orientation. I find that a little easier for me. So yeah, when I can get my hands on a small deck, I'm happy, right? Also, if I'm unsure about a deck, then having a mini version is a nice way to sort of try out and see if I like it. And I have since also got mini versions of decks that I already own and love, but don't want to take out and about with me because either they're too big or they're indie. So two that come to mind that are mini versions are one that I'm going to show you actually, so I won't tell you right now, but and the other one is the Next World Tarot by Christy C. Rode. I have the independent version that was gifted to me by my friend Simon at the Hermit's Cave, and I just don't want to take that one out, firstly because it's fucking mahoosive, right? It is a big boy, but also because it is one of the original indie copies, right? It's not the, because you can get the large sort of the original mass market printing, which is quite big. So I have the pocket version of that, and that got so much play last year, like doing readings for friends at the PARK. I have to spell it because Dr. Nomi is laying beside me in a patch of sunlight, and if I say the word out loud she will get excited. We're going to wait until after lunch before we go to that place with her, so she's conked out in a, yeah, sunbathing at the moment. Sun's out, buns out. So yeah, I am going to get on with the oh, I didn't finish explaining my thinking. So yeah, I was looking at the Orion's Animal Tarot, which also originally came out in an indie version, was indie produced and got picked up mass market. And I was like, do I need another animal deck? I was going to say, do I need another deck? I could always do with another deck. I don't need them, but I like them, right? But it was like, do I need an animal one? Do I need another animal one? So like, let's just have a little look at my animal decks. And then I was like, well, I have them all out now, so I might as well actually share them with you as well. So that's what we're doing here. That was a very long-winded way to say, look at some of these cool animal decks. And I've realised I've got a smear on my glasses and it is annoying me. It's sort of to the side of the lens, and it's sort of distracting my sight. So I'm going to pause the video and clean that off, and then I will start showing you some videos. Fuck me, show you some decks. Oh my goodness, that's so much better. So there's no real sort of order that I'm going to do. Do you know what? Sorry, I'm just sort of distracted myself by looking at how bloody creased this fabric is. But like, I am not ironing this every time I make a video. Fuck that shit. Anyway, so this is in no particular order. I'm just going to show you my decks. Actually, tell a lie, I'll do the oracle at the end. I'll show the tarot first. Actually, do you know what? Tell another lie. What I'll do is I'll do like sort of scenic, situational, then I'll do like Pepesh and Marseille, and then I will do, then do I keep doing this? And then I'll do the oracle decks. There we go. So they, you know, what to expect. And then I can do like chapters on the video, which I think people like chapters, timestamps, whatever the fuck they're called. Anyway, so yeah, let's just jump straight in. The first one, what was my first animal tarot? What was my first animal tarot? Oh my God, I don't know. Oh, I think I do know. It's this baby. This is my Tarot of the Magical Forest. Anyone that has been on my channel, watching my channel for a hot minute, will know that I love this deck. It is my baby. It is my favourite. Even though I am a Marseille girl through and through these days, that's my favourite system. This deck is like my baby. It's so special to me. The forest is on the back. There is no forest in any of the bloody cards, like depict, you know, the actual fronts of the cards. Very strange name for a deck to have, you know, for a deck to not have any forest in it, but it does have lots of cute animals. This deck is, I'm not sure what the medium is that the art is created in. Let me see can you see a bit better? Try and get rid of that glare. My copy, I don't know if you can see, it's really, you'll see all the ring lights picking up all the dings and the scratches. It's very well loved. I've had this deck 10 years almost. No, tell a lie. I got it for Christmas 2014. My partner bought it for me for Christmas 2014. It was one of my presents that year. And so I've had it this Christmas. I would have, which is still a ways away, but we watch, it'll swing round before we fucking know it. It would have been 10 years by the end of this year. So we have, the suits are divided into different animals. So we have here, you can see we have rabbits for the cups. We have frogs for the wands. We have cats for the swords. And let me just show you, we have foxes for wands, but we'll just, that's not wands for coins. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Foxes for coins. I was looking at the wand card and it sort of distracted me. So yeah, so foxes for the coins. And then the majors are all just various creatures, animals. And some of them don't, you know, obviously this one is the Three of Swords. It doesn't have an animal in it, but for the most part we have animales. It's really cute, and I know this is a real sort of Marmite deck. People either love or hate the big eyes, and the eyes can be read for me in a number of different ways. Sometimes they look startled, sometimes they just look really intense, sometimes they look worried, sometimes they look like they're just boring into my soul. I love this hedgehog in the Chariot card. It just gives that real, like, this is a really prime example of how the artwork for a card can sort of sway the way that you're going to read it in a reading, right? Because in the Smith-Waite depiction, the horses, the sphinxes, are stable, they're static, they're not moving, they're sort of laying down. There's no real sort of, you don't see any sort of momentum. Here we see there's definite movement. There's this, you've got it coming down at an angle, like it's going downhill, out of control maybe. It just, yeah, I don't know. That's always the impression that I get, and you get these sort of these striations, which I think is just like meant to be the sky in the background and the land sort of vaguely, but it just feels like it's got this dynamism to it. So, but yeah, I love this because the poor cat's little arms don't reach up to cover his eyes because they're too short, and it always makes me laugh and kind of feel sad at the same time for him. Look at this lovely little paw there, this little fox paw. Oh, I love it so much. This is one of my favourite strength cards in the world. I always show it along with the hermit card, the little Hermie the hermit, who is one of my other favourite hermit cards of all time. Where is he? Where is Hermie? Come on, Hermie. Boo boo, where are you? Oh, he's going to be right there. We go. I can see him. There's Hermie. I got a few other people calling him Hermie now as well, including Simon at Hermit's Cave calls him Hermie. But yeah, I love this deck, and I think I probably always will. So that's the first, and I think it was the first ever animal deck that I had. I edged mine in green and trimmed off all the multi-language titles because they were annoying me, frankly. So oakley dokley. The next one I'm going to show you is by Three Trees Tarot. So that is Stephanie Burrows as the designer and the writer of the guidebook, and then Adam Ohlers as the artist, the artist that takes those ideas and transforms them into images. This was very kindly gifted to me for my birthday a couple of years ago by Stephanie herself, who is an absolute sweetheart. This is a real chunky monkey. I do struggle to riffle shuffle this one just because it is so thick and juicy. But I do love it. I do struggle to read with it sometimes. I'm finding that the other deck that I'll show you, I'm finding that a bit easier to read with. I'm actually going to scooch in a little bit for this one rather than hold it up to the camera so you can see a bit more clearly, because the artwork is very, very detailed, more detailed than the, there's more intricate details than the previous deck I showed you. The Knight of Pentacles there. It's really beautiful. It's very storybook illustration. It's quite evocative, and I don't know quite what. I don't quite know why I sometimes struggle to read with it. I feel like I have to be in a certain frame of mind. It's not that I can't read with it at all. It's just that sometimes I'm not picking up what it's putting down. Like the Tower. This is very not every single card. Like for me, this is a really great example of the Tower card. Having it being set in the natural world, animals, having a tree being struck by lightning rather than, a building makes sense. You've got it on the cliff here. You can see that there's sort of shale or rocks or soil sort of falling. It's on the precipice. It could set fire, it could topple over, or it might withstand the strike. And then we've got the birds. Maybe I always get the feeling that the birds were in the tree, and as it was struck, they're flying away. These crows are it's leaving the tree for safety. We do have sort of like, it's not like a completely like naturalistic animal deck. You do have things like this bird has, for the High Priestess, has like something around her neck like a pendant. She's got leaves that almost act as, or do act as the crown or the headdress that the High Priestess wears. You can see here there's like a string tied around the scroll, which would represent the book or the scroll that the High Priestess carries. So there's sort of elements of, here for example, this fox is actually wearing a crown. And I don't mind that. I don't mind anthropomorphized animals, as you could see in the tarot of the Magical Forest. It's literally a Smith-Waite deck, but make it animals, which I love. But yeah, this deck is stunning. There's no two ways about it, honestly. I love this for the Chariot because we have a snail on the bird. Like, it's such an interesting interpretation. I guess the snail's quite slow on their own, so the bird helps them sort of get somewhere a bit more quickly. I don't know. Or, do you know what? I've never thought of this before, but it's just popped into my head. You know those like brain sucker things from Futurama, and they control the brains of the people whose heads they're attached to. Now my headcanon is this snail is controlling this bird. Oh, why am I like this? I'd never thought of that before. That's so funny. So yeah. Here we have like the little acorn tops that act as the cups, which I think is really cute. We have actual swords, the birds interacting with actual sword here. Rabbits, foxes for the wands. So yeah, it's interesting, right? Because the foxes here, we've got the wands, and then, the birds are the swords, and then the cups are squirrels, and the pentacles are rabbits. So it's always interesting to see the choices, like the fool being a foal. Oh, the fool being a foal makes sense to me, right? It's always interesting with animal decks, seeing which animals are chosen and which animal, if there's a particular animal chosen for a suit, which animals people choose for each suit. I've heard people speaking about, I remember Katie Flowers speaking about how she struggles with animal decks, partly because being in Australia, a lot of the animals that were featured were either animals that you would see in sort of European countries or in North America, for example, and so she didn't see a lot of the animals from Australia, so she couldn't relate to them. But also she said because she had a number of animal decks, because different choices were made, different animals were chosen for the same cards depending on what deck that you're looking at, it sort of made it confusing for her, and I think that was one of her sort of criticisms of animal decks. And I think if you have like one animal deck and that's the one that you stick with, that can sometimes help with that issue. If you still want one, just pick one and stick with it, so you don't get those sort of, you know. But for me, it doesn't bother me. I enjoy all the versions. Okay, so that was that one. So keeping it in the Three Trees Tarot vein, I am going to show you my most recent Three Trees Tarot deck. Let me just move these little guidance cards so I can put them aside. And that's Heartwood. I believe this is... the pre-order for it has now closed, I think, because I remember a friend of mine contacting me asking me how I was finding this deck, because she was just trying to decide whether she wanted to pre-order it or not before the ordering closed. I'm actually finding that this, as compared to the Smoke Ash, not the smoke, I don't have the Smoke Ash and Embers, the Oak Ash and Thorn, which I've just shown you, I'm finding that I'm finding this more readable. Can I speak today? Clearly not. I think it's just because there's not so much creatures doing slightly human things in the woods. It's a bit more Smith-Waitey, I guess. There are they're depicted in a different way, but, you know, like this being the Eight of Cups, and we've got these sort of broken cups and this little mouse climbing up this mountain that is, you know, with books and cups towards the moon. You can see the Smith-Waite Eight of Cups in that, right? It's very sort of readable in that way. So I'm just finding it a bit more doable on that front. Doable, what? Excuse me. Queen of Swords, this Death card, just this sort of, it's just so beautiful, so sort of brutal but beautiful and realistic, you know. Ace of Pentacles. I love this little mouse that we see just on this journey through the deck. It makes me think of the black cat that we see through every card in the Halloween tarot, which is one of my favourite spooky decks, or spoopy decks. I love the sort of, you know, the papers tucked in, because birds can do this. They'll take random bits of, like, I don't know, paper and foil and twigs and sort of like fancify their plumage to like impress mates, which I think is a fun little fact about certain birds, types of birds. So yeah, I'm just finding this one, oh god, just like it's so, some of them feel so menacing. I love that we've got the nod to the ram as well, like in the pictures for this one, the Emperor being linked to Aries and the ram. But yeah, just this mouse staring down this Emperor, almost like speaking truth to power. And this one gives me sort of a little heebie-jeebies because, you know, we've got a mouse being the beady eye of an owl. So this mouse looks like they can be in sort of dangerous situations sometimes. Again, so we have the High Priestess here. We have a different interpretation. Still a bird, different kind of bird. This time wearing a crown, also carrying the scroll from a string in their beak. But here we've got the nod with the moon and the stars on the... Sorry, I just realised I was looking at it in person and not through my screen, so I couldn't see that I was cutting it off for you there. Sorry. We've got the nod to the stars and the moon here. And we also have the pomegranates as well. So yeah, just sort of different interpretation. Yeah, Five of Cups. Oh. So yeah, I'm enjoying this deck. It's quite moody. It has quite a moody feel to it. Like there's a lot more. I feel like there's more blues than warm tones in this one. There's a lot more. Feels like there's more sort of warm tones in my Oak, Ash and Thorn. So yeah, that's that one. So my next one is sort of a modern classic, I would say. So I have the World Unknown Tarot by Kim Krans. And when I said I had one that was an independent that I bought a pocket version of, it's this one. I have the pocket version. Actually, I use this one more than I use this one now because it's small. Again, it's easier on my hands. I really enjoy the cardstock. It's but it's different to this one because this is the original indie version, so the backs are different and some of the artwork on a couple of the cards is different and the coloration on some of the cards are different. The first one that comes to mind is the Lovers I think that one it has the, so, yeah, I think this one, no, hang on. I'm trying to think which ones have been changed up, so I'll show you. The lovers in this one, I think, just has blue, from what I remember. But loads of them are this, and this one I feel has been changed as well. We've got like the Progress Pride flag. Happy Pride Month to my fellow queers. So yeah, but I'll just put the mini one aside for now, even though I love it, because you'll be able to see the artwork more clearly in the original. So can you see it's got these backs? It's quite chunky, but not the chunkiest deck I own anymore. I think it was one of the thickest, chunkiest, thickest cardstock decks I had at the time. I think I got this in like 2015, 2016. Can't remember now again, because what even is time? But let me see if I can find the Lovers card for you. So there, we already had a look at that. So some of them are exactly the same. And this isn't strictly animals, like we do have, obviously we have for the like the Emperor and the Empress, we have trees. Oh, here we go, here's the Emperor, which I really love these as a pair. I really love these as a pair, even though they don't, you know, they don't have animals in. Come on, camera. They're gorgeous. You know, here's another example of one that is a bit more sort of pippish. Yeah, so there's the 7. That was the one that I showed you before. I was pretty sure it was the 7 of Cups where the artwork's been changed. I actually do still enjoy this one. But I was trying to find you the Lovers. And of course now I won't be able to find it. Hang on. Okay, so I found it. So here we go. I don't actually mind that it just has blue. It doesn't really, I don't feel like it has to be the bright colour, all of the different colours, but I feel like it's a bit more gay and I'm into that. So there's that. And here you go, here's the Judgment card. See, so you've got the, was it Judgment or was it Justice? Oh my god, my brain can't remember things. It's just terrible. Oh no, it says Judgment is the same. Justice. Oh bloody hell. Okay, with the cats. Hang on a minute. What even is my brain doing? Honestly, my memory is trash. Okay, so I found it. My goodness. So here we go. You can see it's sort of been coloured in, and then we have like this edition of the globe. So there is, you know, there are some changes to this one, but I use this one a bit more now than this one, so I've sort of gotten used to this one a little bit more. But yeah, I love it. It's interesting, right, because you get the courts are sort of like families. So we've got the Son of Cups, the Mother of Cups, we have the Daughter of Cups and the Father of Cups, which makes me think of the way that Bakara Wintner describes the courts in What the Fuck is Tarot? WTF is Tarot book. Although I feel like her descriptions of the court cards are incredibly like sort of skewed negative. So here we go. So we have like families of, and it's just all swans. So we have a Signet here as the daughter, and then a slightly more mature swan as the son, which would be the knight. And then we have the Mother of Cups, and then we have the Father of Cups being a black swan. So yeah, that's different animal families for each of the courts. So yeah, that's an interesting way to tackle it, right? So the next deck I'm going to show you has been renamed, and I think it's called now the, God, it sounds kind of appropriative and I can't remember off the top of my head anymore. I think it's called the Spirit Animal Tarot, which I don't love. But it was originally called the Animal Wisdom Tarot, which I think is better, by Dawn Brunk, or Brunker, illustrated by Ola Leola. Say that fast 5 times. And it's by Seco Books. I think I paid like £10 or £11 for this. It's very funny. Yeah, it's one of Seco Books or Chico Books, whatever. It's Seco, right? Not Chico. Seco Books. Their decks tend to be quite sort of cheap to buy. It's fairly glossy cardstock. I've edged mine in a number of lovely soft colours that match the artwork. This is the backs. It's fully reversible. It's beautiful. The colours in this deck, let me tell you, this is like one of my summer decks. This got quite a bit of play last summer. Gorgeous, gorgeous. I love it so much. The suits are renamed here, so you can see the 5 of fossils will be the 5 of coins, and we have a donkey. We have a okay, so this is a bit more sort of mythical creature. We have the serpent, the quickener being for the tower, but for the most part it's actual sort of real animals. We have leopard, nurturer of branches, which is the queen of wands. You can see that, her little branch. The peacock, illuminatus, this is the star card. The spider for the wheel. It's just a really, I think it's quite a well thought out deck. Oh, and I should say, so the suits, they don't have like one type of animal for each suit here in this one. So you can see what I mean? It's really interesting to see how different creators sort of tackle the animal, like how they work out what they're going to do with regards to which animals they're featuring and which suits, or if it's just going to be all animals for all suits, you know. So yeah, oh, the shells are the cups. I love this card so much. Otters, I love little sea poppers. Look at them, so cute. Oh, the coyote, I love this. So you would recognise the coyote from the backs. This is the fool card, and I just look at his little side eye and that wry smile. Yes, I love it. Bear guardian is the father, the king. So this is the king of pentacles here. Cat, knower of secrets. So here we have a cat for the high priestess. So some of it is anthropomorphized, some of it's not. I mean, we see the bat for the hanged one quite often, right? That's sort of quite an obvious choice, I'd like to say. But it's a fun one. I enjoy it. I love me some bats. So here we have the king of cups is a shark. I recently rewatched Jaws and Jaws 2. Jaws, absolute classic. Love it, right? Oh my god, though, Jaws 2, I was so bored, and I like, oh god, it's really not as good as the original, the first film, but I sort of made myself sit through it, because I was like, well, I've started, so I'll finish it. Oh, and I should say, so we have feathers, which represents the swords in this. Grosbeak, 3 of feathers. So this is 3 of swords. We have like that, sort of the hearts on their chests there. Oh, I love a trash panda. Seer of fossils. Elephant, bearer of justice. So yeah, I don't want to like show all of the this is the world card, the whale, all encompassing. Oh my god, just what a great choice. The artwork though, oh, this isn't the camera isn't doing justice. Oh, I love manatees. I think the suit of shells is my favourite, and then the suit of fossils in this deck. Death's head moth for death. I mean, yeah. Oh god, look at this with the moon. God, moon gazing hair. Anyway, so yeah, this is a real. It does have humans actually, tell a lie. There's one card which features humans with some dogs, and hang on, let me see if I can find it. So here we go. We have a kid hugging this dog. So we have like these 2 dogs, and then their puppy is playing, and then, you know, so for the 10 of fossils or the 10 of coins or pentacles. And I do find it a little strange, because from what I can remember from, you know, it doesn't have any other like humans in it at all. So it's weird that there's this one kid in it, but okay, it's not the end of the world. I suppose I can have a human. So yeah, that's that one. It's just the colours are so scrumptious. These like purples and lilacs and mint greens and aquas and oh, yum yum yum, pinky pink tones. The next deck I'm going to show you is a little weird. It kind of does its own thing a little bit. It is, from what I understand from the creator, is based in the Smith-Waite system, but it sort of kind of does its own thing. It doesn't have a guidebook. You kind of just sort of have to like go with it. And it's the wooden tarot from Skull Garden. I have all of the Skull Garden decks. I love them. I love Andrew Andy, is it Andy? I always want to say Andrew, but it's Andy Swartz's artwork. And this, yeah, is animals, but make them weird, which I'm all for. So, let's show you. And there are these weird, like, eyeball characters here, which can be a little jarring. But other than that, it's like, you know, bones and crystals and antlers and things like that. Oh, there's the World Tree card. I love this. As above, so below. But yeah, so we've got like animals that have extra eyes. Blooms are cups. Plumes are swords. Bones are wands, and stones are pentacles. High priestess being a humpback whale feels very, but can you see like there's extra fins and extra eyes? Like, it's so weird, but I love it. And it looks like they've like jumped so high that she's sort of in the clouds, and we've got the triple moon, obviously, which is features in the High Priestess regularly. Well, this from the Smith-Waite iteration onwards. But yeah, so we've got, you know, like a horn or some kind of antler situation. I love this chariot card. This snail just carrying all these mushrooms, this fungi on its back. So we have like, so it's animals / nature-y. I just think it's a really interesting take. So here we have the emperor, but you know, the mountains, you usually see the emperor sitting on a throne. Again, in the Smith-Waite, whenever I'm saying when you see, I'm usually referring to, you know, the Smith-Waite if it's a Smith-Waite based deck, or, you know, obviously a classic Tarot de Marseille if it's a Marseille or Pip deck. But, you know, the mountains are on the back or the heads, the shoulders of the elephant instead, which is an interesting interpretation. And then we have like this exaggerated sort of ram's head skull at the bottom, again to get that association with Aries, and the ram for the emperor. So there's loads of like really interesting interpretations. This deck feels very sort of, you take the Smith-Waite and then you have to rely on your sort of intuition and gut instincts for the rest. I mean, this death card is brutal. Mouse with a mouse caught by an owl. Again, you know, when I was showing you the Heartwood Tarot, where you have the owl looking down, Justice looking down at the mouse. You know, squeaky bomb time for the mouse. So this is the 8 of Wands. Oh no, it's the, I always get this, yeah, no, stones. I always get these mixed up. Every time I work with this deck, I have to look it up what the bloody suits are. So stones are wands, blooms are cups, fossils are pentacles, and bones are, no, hang on. I cannot. No, blooms are cups, stones are wands? Yeah, stones are wands, because that's like the 4 with the people, and that's the flying wands. See what I mean? It throws me off, and I don't work with this deck enough to know it off by heart. I work with it here and there throughout the year. So blooms is cups, and then we have the arrows, right? Where are they? Where plumes are swords. They're like plumes, like feathers rather. Plumes, arrows. So yeah, it really throws me off. So I always have to like double check with this one. Like which one is which. And I've had this deck for ages. Maybe I need to sort of work with it intensely again for a while, because I haven't done like an intense, you know, 4-week thing with this for years, and my memory these days is trash, so I can't remember things that I've learnt previously. It's all sort of hard to access in my brain. But yeah, so that is another animal deck of mine. Right, so the next 3 I'm going to show you are Marseille Pippi type decks. So this is the Tarot Cats by Anna Juan. This is a Fournier deck. So it's that nice, easy to handle size, nice cardstock. I do enjoy a Fournier deck. I won this earlier this year in a competition. And I've put it in order because I keep saying I'm going to do a walkthrough of it, but I don't know if anyone would be interested. This like, I think it's a dog taking a chomp out of a cat, but like you can really getting a good bite there, right? The Magician with the snake, or like snake eating his tail, Aurora Boreas around his waist. The faces on these are so strange. We have a nod to the egg in Jodorowsky's deck, because Jodorowsky couldn't help but like put stuff that wasn't originally there, or read things into the Marseille that wasn't necessarily there, adding in extra things, esotericizing it, I guess. I don't know who originally came up with that idea, so I've not read any Jodorowsky because fuck that guy. But yeah, like the faces just send me. I've not had a proper like time with this deck yet. Like I said, I've put it in order to do a walkthrough. This is the only like single animal deck that I own, and it's cats, and I'm more of a dog person, I say, as I look around at Dr. Nomi there on her blanket. There are not enough dog decks. Where are the dog decks? And I know people are always like, oh, but you know, like spooky people and like witches, they're all like cat people. Not true. Don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't like cats. Cats are fine, but I'm like, if I had to pick, I would pick dogs. Hence why I have a dog. Yeah. And I sometimes toy with the idea of doing a dog deck, but I just know that I wouldn't fucking finish it because I have terrible follow through thanks to neurospiciness. It would literally take me a decade to make, by which point someone else probably would have already done the idea that I had anyway. So yeah, this is a fun cat deck. Let me know if you want to see a walkthrough of this very strange deck. Oh, do you know what? I can't be bothered to try and put it back in order just yet. I'll sort it out later. Never mind. Okay, so the next animal-ish question mark deck is one I don't see very often. It's an indie deck. It's the Isidore Tarot, which a Neo-Victorian Tarot. I can't remember what edition this is, second or third edition, so the coloration is different. There's also a sea and sand edition which has more like teals and aqua colors. And yeah, this one is Pip rather than Marseille, but it's very fun, and again very anthropomorphized. And this utilizes the work of Jean Ignace Isidore Gerard. I can never remember his name off of the top of my head. I always have to like read it off because he sort of went by numerous variations of his own name and like switched things around, and so like it's very difficult. Like even when you look up at him on Wikipedia, like it says he sort of changed his name or went by various variations of his name. So I just say Isidore, easier that way. But yeah, so it's based on his artwork. He was a Victorian artist. I say that though, he was born before the Victorian era, before Queen Victoria took her throne. You know, generally it's 19th century, I should say. But yeah, so this is an interesting deck we don't see very often. I remember it was doing the rounds quite a few years ago, but not one I see often anymore. But it's fun. Like, look at this page of wands, look at his. But yes, very anthropomorphized. But sort of like a fun curiosity kind of deck as well. Let's show you a few more, but very Pippish. So we have the swords are like little forks, which just sort of just is quite fun. The wands tend to look like some kind of like scepter or walking stick or something, rather than like an actual wand. And then the cups are a really weird shape. Well, here with the discs, I always joke that they're like records, but records didn't exist then. Not even the original, what was it before vinyl? It was shellac. Not even the shellac ones existed before. Well, actually, tell a lie. When was the... I'm going to have to... This is going to bug me. I'm going to have to Google something. Hold on. Okay, I just had to look when the phonograph was invented. It was 1877, and Isidore had been dead for like over 30 years by that point. So yeah, like he died not long after Queen Victoria took the throne. So I don't know why people refer to him as a Victorian sometimes. And also, I guess, because here it says a neo-Victorian, but technically it's not. It's pre-Victorian. And if you actually, I'm going to get really nerdy here as someone who worked in fashion and studied costuming and clothing history, a lot of the details here you will see they predate the Victorian era clothing style as well. So let's see. And now, oh, always doing that, always shuffling the actual like, see, he's like cutaway coat. That's way more like late 18th, early 19th century. Well, that's just totally. See this cutaway? We do get that in the Victorian era, but it starts to get closer to what we would recognize as a modern day suit. Anyway, that's never mind. Just me and me being a pedant. Okay, this is the final tarot deck I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to go on to Oracle. So this is the Anima Mundi tarot. I've shown this a couple of times and recently. This is a pips with feeling type deck, as some folks would call them. It's got a lovely reversible back, lovely linen cardstock, lovely gold gilding. This is one of those decks, again, that I struggle to pick up what it's putting down. So again, not strictly all animals. Here we have just like the 4 wands. 2 pentacles. We do have a snake just there sliding through, which is quite a nice little detail there. The eagle as a judgment is quite an interesting interpretation. But yeah, again, it's one of those decks where it's not always like super readable for me. And again, I feel like I need to be in a certain headspace. I don't know, it's really strange. I really need to like tap into my intuition more. And I'm so much in my like headspace the last, like, I don't know, caught up in my headspace at least the last like 9-10 months, struggling to like get out of that and into a more intuitive space, that I am struggling with like more intuitive hits than I used to. I love this for the strength card though. How clever. Dung beetle, very clever interpretation. This is a rather sad 10 of swords, and I know that not everyone is a fan of sort of seeing harm, especially as this is like being pierced by swords rather than something natural, like where you saw with the wooden tarot, where you have the owl with the mouse in its mouth, which is a much more sort of, well, that's nature. This looks like humans have done it, but also like that's kind of how humans can be, because humans can be awful, let's be honest. So we have a fox for the Fool, very sweet with the rose in his mouth, quite simplistic, not much else going on, not much symbolism going on. So maybe that's why sometimes it's not a pip deck and it's not a Smith-Waite deck. It's kind of a little bit of both. I do love this though. Like, this makes sense. Like, some of them I'm like, of course, right? There's the beavers. It's the 8 of Pentacles. They're working. They're making their little dam. You know, it's all good. Oh God, I do love these skies. Again, wands. 2 of Wands. Oh, I do love this King of Pentacles again. The King of Pentacles being a bear, which obviously I appreciate. Ace of Wands. I do love the little fly agaric mushrooms growing at the bottom there for the Ace of Wands. This one just really breaks my heart. Like, some of them are just too real. Like, come on, that's just, you know, this one reminds me of when I was watching, I can't watch nature documentaries because I just end up crying my fucking eyes out. But there's this one particular one that I was watching, and it's where it was penguins, or penguins, as Benedict Cumberbatch says. And it was talking about how, you know, the baby penguins, they're really, really fluffy and cute, but then they have to shed their feathers because they need to be able to go in the water. So there comes a point where they move on from where they are and they all go in the water, and they sort of, it's a whole thing as they mature. And there was, you know, some of the the babies don't shed their feathers in time, and so they can't go in the water, and they get like attacked by predator birds that like come and pick them up, like pick them to death with their beaks. And they filmed this like baby penguin that was half covered in fluffy feathers being picked to death, and I was just like, I was like cried my eyes out for like for what felt like an hour, and every time I kept thinking about it, I burst out crying. Like, nature is red in tooth and claw is very, very true. Like, people get very sort of romanticized about nature, but it is harsh. It is harsh. And so I got to a point by my late 20s where I'm like, do you know what? I'm just not going to watch nature documentaries anymore because I'm not doing it to myself. I don't need to. I know what it's like. It's rough out there, man. It's rough. On to the oracles. So the first oracle I'm going to show you is another, I think they've got the most points for like most featured in this video, is another Three Trees Tarot, and it is the Thistledown Oracle, or just Thistledown. Oh my god, this deck, this deck really, last year really got me. Really, I felt like it really provided some like necessary support. I really love the keywords. This is my favorite in the whole deck, I think. Ferocity with this like wolf cub. We do have, like, here you can see we do have some dragons, which is it's also a nod, I guess, to the Smoke, Ash and Embers, which is a dragon based deck. And it's just, and I there's a video where I've used this as like a spread machine, so pulling cards and then pulling tarot cards to, like, these will work as spread positions or prompts, and then pulling a tarot card from, you know, so it would be like something that about warmth or something it's about dreams, and then pulling a tarot card. I'm being so articulate today, can you tell? Retreat. Lots of lovely warm tones again in this deck. Calm. It's really interesting, and I've said this before when I've shared this deck on my channel, is when I was hurtling towards burnout big time September last year, I was in a really, like, just really struggling physically, mentally, emotionally, and was so close to our holiday in Scotland that was going to be in October, and I was just sort of hanging on and pushing through. But a lot of the cards that I was pulling in the lead up to that holiday were, you know, things like shelter and retreat and safety, and like lots of cards that were all about sort of being nurtured and comforted and sort of squirreling yourself away. And it was like saying, like, you need to like take a break. And there came a point, I think it was about a week before my holiday in Scotland, and I was like, I am taking a break. I need to go off social media. And, you know, because I knew that I was going to be taking a social media break on my holiday, and I thought that was because that was in the middle of October, and I thought, but like a week or so before, maybe about 8, 9, 10 days before my holiday, I was like, I just need to nip it in the bud now because I'm burning out. But yeah, so yeah, pause. I remember this coming up as well. But yeah, really nurturing and a really great deck for spread machine. Doesn't shy away from the sort of more gnarlier aspects. Very, you know, just, oh, Haven, that was another one I recognised that came up for me. Where was it? That one came up for me quite a bit. Like, I just kept pulling all these same cards over and over again with the same kind of like variations on a theme. Cards can be so uncanny, can't they? So yeah, that's the first oracle deck. The next oracle deck is the second Wild Unknown oracle deck in this video, and it is the Wild Unknown Pocket Animal Spirit deck and guidebook by Kim Crans. I love, again, I took this on holiday, aforementioned holiday in Scotland. This came with me. I do love the chunky monkey. Like, I know the writing is small, but it's just so satisfyingly chunky. And this is like the tin is deep to this deep man to fit the chunky book in, and I just find it really satisfying. Again, it has the same card stock as the pocket tarot version, and this has got a little bit of a bow in it because, again, this is one of those decks that I've used a lot. Actually, I think my card of the year has been on my altar. I took it off to just show you. This is my card. Animal card of the year. Animal messenger of the year is Zebra, which I'm not paying enough mind to. I don't poking you in. But yeah, this has been sitting on my altar. since I did my solar return spread in January for my birthday, because yeah, birthdays, solar return. I tend not to do my year ahead spread at New Year's. I do it for my birthday because it's more personal, you know, and there's less stress attached to it for me, because I feel like there's too much like, oh, new year, new spread, new me kind of stuff, and I can't be dealing with that collective energy, so I just do my own personal quiet like little New Year's spread. So yeah, this is divided into like, you know, land and water and sea and all that stuff. Land, water and sea are both water, as in like the elements, like creatures that are sort of based around like fire. Hang on, let me just, it's easy for me to just show you because I am really struggling to be articulate today because brain fog is a real issue for me. So here we go. So we have the earth cards, water cards, fire cards and air cards. So, you know, you've got the elemental associations. So earth is like, well, you'll be able to see from like, this is an earth card, this is a water card, this is an air card being a bird, this is a fire card, I think, being a hyena, water. Even to this day, I still like struggle to remember the signs. Like I have been working with utilizing these signs for years, and yet somehow they don't stick in my brain. Isn't that weird? So earth, I try to think of it as earth. It's like the line is like the land, and it's pointing down because it's to the earth, and then air is in, there's the line for the earth and it's pointing upwards because it's to the air. And then I try to think of fire, it's going up because a flame goes up, and there's no line because it's within, you don't, you know, the fire is on the surface of the land. And then the water is down because it's water, but like, I don't know, because water goes down. I don't know, that doesn't make sense. But that's how I try to remember it, but I sometimes forget how I remember it. Does that make sense? But yeah, does anyone else struggle with those? It's one of those things that just doesn't stick in my brain, no matter how many times I've worked with it or looked at it, or and there's some, we have like the spirit element, and we have like mythical magical creatures like unicorn and phoenix and stuff like that. So yeah, but I love the little splashes of colour. It's really scrumptious. Oh, I got this one so much last summer. I was just beavering away, or being away. Shark. Oh no, now I've given myself the baby shark earworm. Oh my god. Bloody hell. Anyone else do that with that bloody song? But yeah, here we have the sea serpent. For those who know their Norse mythology. Buffalo. So yeah, anyway, so this, and I love this mini version. I don't have the full size version. I don't feel like I need it. Would I like it? Yes, but do I like need it? No. Does it matter? Does it like upset me that I don't have it? Not really. So actually I can keep that one out because I can go back on my altar. So yeah, that is the second oracle deck, and the final one I'm going to show you technically is not an oracle. It is a affirmation deck, I guess you would call it, and it is the Therapets by Kate Allen. I'm gonna have to like podge out a little bit now. The cardstock is very glossy, so I'm going to see how this really looks. It's so annoying because it was so beautifully sunny when I first started filming this deck. It's meant to be dry all day, but it's gone really cloudy. So I just need a sip of the old water. So yeah, this is a very what's the word? It's an affirmation deck. It's very like supportive and a hug deck, you know. It's fucking huge, and I tend to, whenever I've worked with this, I will pull a card and then I will put it up or prop it up on my desk so that I can see it throughout the day. It's very like squishy, it's very like, and sometimes I love it and I need it, and other times it like irritates me because it's so like saccharine and like smooshy, so I like have to be in the rainbow part of me loves this. The like goth spider bitch in me like doesn't jive with this at all. It's a real like but you know, no beating yourself up anymore. It doesn't help and you don't deserve it, right? But yeah, it's all these animals. You are strong enough, you know. And sometimes like I get the sentiment, and so, but sometimes it's not what I need because it feels like it's actually trying to like gloss over. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes it feels a little bit like, I wouldn't say it's positive, toxic positivity, but sometimes I'm like, but no, this is actually shit though. You know what I mean? Just because you feel like trash doesn't mean you are trash. I know there's people out there that, I mean, there's times when I have been trash, and you know, you are a fighter ever onwards, but sometimes like I'm like, but I just want to like lay in my pajamas and eat popcorn and watch Supernatural. Like I don't want to be a fighter. You know, a bad day doesn't mean a bad life. Tomorrow will be different. Will it though? See, I'm in a cynical mood today, so I'm like being a bit mean about this deck, but this deck has definitely carried me through some rough times as well. So I like this, right? Because I have problems with anxiety. It's okay to be uncomfortable. It's okay to be scared. You will succeed in spite of these feelings, right? Which is quite a nice one. This one I feel like it's a bit more like love rather than fear. Although, again, sometimes people don't deserve your love. Sometimes you need to like straight up cut a bitch, metaphorically speaking, not physically, unless it's like a very much a case of you know, self-defense, I guess. This is so true, right? That this bit, no one else knows what they're doing. It's all going to turn out fine. Sometimes it doesn't, right? That's the thing. Like some of it just, anyway. So, but I do love the artwork. I kind of get the sentiment. I have to, like, clearly I need to be in a certain space where I need, this is helping me. At other times, I'm just too much of a cynical bitch to like work with it. Anxiety does fucking lie though. This is the thing, right? And I think this is the problem that we're seeing now, whereas people say, you know, anxiety lies, depression lies, you need to reframe things, and that's sometimes the problem with certain types of therapy. And again, I've spoken about this and my experiences with it, but we're telling people now, where we are in like a very, you know, politically things are all up in there. Like here in the UK we have a general election taking place soon, and everything is just like banana pancakes at the moment on that front. The world is like an absolute trash fire. There's all sorts of atrocities going on around the world this very moment, which is just utterly devastating and heartbreaking. We are in the midst of a fucking climate crisis. Everything is too expensive. People can't afford to live. They can't afford their rent. They can't afford their food. People don't have like healthcare. Our NHS is absolutely fucked and on its knees, and as someone who needs to access healthcare on a regular basis, I've definitely noticed the absolute like free fall that it is in at the moment. It's been horrendous. And so telling someone, you know, everything's just fine at this point isn't necessarily true. And a lot of younger people, like generations, you know, Gen Z, and I guess now also Gen Alpha, is that, you know, their anxieties are fucking valid. It is valid to be anxious about the damn climate crisis, for example, because no one that can actually do anything about it, you know, the big corporations that are responsible for the huge amount of like fossil fuels and pillaging the planet for all its fucking resources, just like that's their, where's their future, right? Of course they feel anxious. I feel anxious. I remember learning about climate change in the late 80s and being absolutely terrified about it, and it's been something I've been passionate about for a long time, and that anxiety is still there. And people going, oh, you know, it'll be fine, we'll sort it out. Well, we're here, we haven't sorted it out, and the next generation, I mean, you know, even we're all fucked, essentially. The planet will be fine. The planet will recalibrate. Humans, fucked. We're going to take we're going to take a load of other animals and creatures and ecosystems along with us. Eventually the planet will recalibrate. That's true. Although maybe if you're looking at the super long game, everything will be fine because, you know, the sun will eventually become a red giant. It will expand and the entire solar system will be vaporized. So maybe we will all be you know, everything will be fine. Wow, that was a real like existential anxiety rant about the climate crisis. There we go. You know, sometimes your best isn't good enough though. Like, anyway, I've belaboured the point and gone on a fucking eco rant. There we go. Would it be a Kelly Bat video without a fucking rant? Would it, I ask you? No, it wouldn't. So it is almost my lunchtime. I am quite hungry. I'm going to go make myself a sandwich, and I'm going to try and film another video after this because I've seen Marilyn from Tarot Clarity do a fun tag, her first ever tag, and I'm trying to like batch film so that I don't have to like keep spending my weekends just filming on a Sunday. I don't know, it's just pissing me off, and I want to go roller skating on Sunday. We fingers crossed, should the weather and my fucking health allow, we shall see. Anyway, I ended this on a really grumpy note. I don't want to end it on a grumpy note. Thank you so much. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know which was your favorite animal deck. What are your animal decks that you have that I haven't shown? Do you have the Orion's Animal Tarot, and what do you think of it? Or are you planning on getting the pocket one? The pocket one comes out towards the end of this year, if I remember correctly. I may be wrong, but as I often am about many things in life. But yeah, just thoughts, stuff, you know, eco rants in the comments, as you wish. Yeah, hope that you are safe and well wherever you are watching this, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Ciao.